Hello, students. So let's go to the next problem. Let's read it. It says, the triangle below has a perimeter of 31 inches. The question is, which equation in factor form can be used to determine the value of x? So let's back it up a little bit. Well, first of all, notice how there is a triangle. So what do I know about a triangle? Yes, it has three sides, right? Okay. And it says it has a perimeter of 31. So if you remember, perimeter means what? The sum of the sides, right? So I'm going to put it right here. Sum of the sides. Okay, so we're ready to go. Now, my triangle has three sides, but it has no values for the sides. It has what is called an expression, right? So the first side says 3x plus 4. So my sides over here, I need to add up all the three sides of the triangle, right? So I'm going to write down 3x plus 4. That's one side, right? The second side is 4x minus 4. So I'm going to need to add that to my expression. The third side says x squared plus 1. So I need to add up that one as well. Okay? So I want you guys to see something here. This side over here, it's right here. Right? This side over here, it's the next one. Are you guys with me? And this is the last side. And this is my last side. Okay? So now, the question says that the perimeter is equals to 31. Therefore, I need to make all of that equals to 31. Okay? Since they want me to find which equation is factor, well, I need to do combining like terms, right? So let's see who are the terms that I can combine. Well, I can see that 3x can be combined with the 4x. Anything else? There's no other x. Don't add x to the second power. That's a very different term. It needs to look exactly like the previous one with only x as an exponent of 1. Anything else that I can combine? Well, if you notice, there is a constant which is 4. Another constant which is minus 4. And another constant which is plus 1. And I also have a 31. Now notice how the 31 is on the right side. I need to move it to the left. So I'll do that when I start combining my terms. Notice how x to the second power cannot be combined with anything. So I'm going to bring it down. I combine 3x plus 4x. That will give me 7x. Now, 4 positive or plus 4 and minus 4 cancels each other. So I have a plus 1 and I need to bring that 31. How do I bring that 31 to the other side? Well, I need to take away 31 on both sides. Remember, that's the concept of equation. Whatever you do on one side, do it to the other side. So I'm going to finish my writing. And now there's nothing on the other side, so it's equals to a 0. So now I can actually combine my constant 1 and my minus 31. So I'm going to bring down my x squared plus 7x because I cannot do anything with that. And 1 minus 31 gives me a 30, right? So it's a negative, so I'm going to say minus 30 equals 0. So now we're kind of halfway down, right? Because now I'm going to use that trinomial right? To find my factors for that. So if you remember, we need to rewrite, and I'm going to rewrite my answer that I got over here. So I have x squared plus 7x minus 30. So what I want you to do next is I want you to write down the standard form right below that. So I'm going to write down ax squared plus bx plus c. Next, I want you to remember that anytime that there's no coefficient, it's understood that it has a 1. So make sure you write down the 1. So I'm going to write down my ABC over here, and I want you to find it for me. So A is who? A is 1. Very good, right? So let's write down my 1 right here. How about B? B is 7. You're right. So I'm going to write down 7 next to my B. And the last one is C. Now look what I do. I go all the way to the negative sign or the minus sign, right? Because that goes with the 30. So let me write down my negative 30 right here. Okay? So let's do a little bit of coloring over here. Make sure that I know who goes with who. So that is my C. Green is for B. And this is my A. So far so good? So this problem is a little bit longer because before you could actually factor it, you needed to add up your sides of the triangle. So let me give you a couple of seconds for you guys to draw the X and the table. Okay, so do you have the table ready? Good. Let's move on. So now I know I need to find the product of A times C, right, which is negative 30. I need to find B, which is a 7. And right here is my A value, which it's a 1 on both cases, right? So now let's move on to the table. So on the table, I need to find the product for who? For negative 30. And I also need to find the sum for positive 7. Okay? So I need to find the product, and I'm going to squeeze it somewhere over here. And over here, I'm going to say the sum. Okay? So let's start with the first factors, right? So the first one will be negative 1 times 30. And it is a negative because my answer needs to be negative. So one of them needs to be negative. In the other one, it will still be a 1. But now the 30, it's negative. Okay, how about 2? Negative 2 times 15. Very good. And I still get a negative 30. Then the 2 is positive, but the 15 is negative, which gives me a negative 30. How about 3? Okay, so let's do negative 3 times 10, negative 30, right? Next one is 3 times negative 10. It's negative 30, right? What about 4? Can 4 multiply anything that gives me a negative 30? No, right? What about 5? Yes. Negative 5 times 6 gives me a negative 30. And what's the next one? 5 times negative 6 gives me a 30. So negative 30, right? So I noticed that I'm done because the 5 and the 6 are very close to each other already. So those are all my factors. Let's go to the sum. Okay, so I'm going to start with negative 1 plus 30. What do I get? Positive 29. Yes. Then 1 plus negative 30. Well, it just turns the negative sign, right? Still 29. Next one, it's negative 2 plus 15 gives me a positive 13. Next one, it's 2 plus negative 15 gives me a negative 13. So I know it seems like a lot of work. Honestly, I feel that the more you do the factors like this, the easier it's going to get for you to say, I got the answer, miss. Let's go to the next one. Negative 3 plus 10 gives me a what? Positive 7. What do we say here? Bingo, right? Yes, that's what I'm looking for, a positive 7. We can continue the rest just so that you prove that I do not get a positive 7 again. This gives me a negative 7. The next one gives me a positive 1. And the last one gives me a negative 1. So yes, we see those are my factors right here. So now I'm going to write my answers on my X. So I write a negative 3. Sorry about that. Negative 3 and a positive 10, right? X's, let's write it down where they belong. And now I know that these are my factors, right? Kind of cover the other one, right? So let's write down my factors. So my factors are going to be 1x minus 3 and 1x plus 10. Rewrite them again so I get x minus 3 and I get x plus 10. And these are my factors, right? So, did you guys find the answer for that one? X minus 3, x plus 10 gives me a. Very good. So that's my answer.